So the first stop on our Princess Cruise was to Naples, Italy. We had a couple excursions booked for our time there. There were many options to choose from, but we chose to visit the Amalfi Coast and Pompeii. You can see our Pompeii excursion in one of our other videos. We were picked up at the cruise port by our private tour company, but a little more on them later. Our adventure began by heading up a narrow roadway towards the top of a mountain. These roads were built in the 1800s to allow access to the Amalfi Coast and to other small towns on that side of the mountain. Before the road was built, the only way to visit these towns was by boat. The Amalfi area has been featured in several movies. Since the area is known for its beauty and stunning scenery, most of the movies are romantic based, but there are several that are not. A couple that you may be familiar with are The Talented Mr. Ripley with Matt Damon and A Good Woman with Helen Hunt. On our way up the mountain, we stopped at a couple photo spots. In the distance, you can see Mount Vesuvius that erupted in 79 AD and destroyed Pompeii. That is the city of Naples below, and Pompeii is located within that area as well. Once we made it over the mountain, we took some time and visited a couple towns along the Amalfi Coast. Our first stop was in the city of Amalfi, which the coast is named after. When we arrived in Amalfi, the driver had to drop us off at the edge of town and let us walk in, because only locals are allowed to drive inside the town. The walk to the city center was short, and it allowed us to experience more of the town itself. After a short walk in the tunnel, we arrived in the middle of the town square. There were several shops and restaurants located around the square, and one of the center attractions was the Amalfi Cathedral. Our driver encouraged us to walk up the steps and look at the cathedral. The original church was built in the 9th century. It was interesting to see the old paintings and architecture. We visited the church on Sunday, so they were in the middle of service and we didn't get to go inside. We took some time and visited some of the local shops in the area. The Amalfi area is known for their lemon production, and they are definitely proud of it. Much of their food, drinks, and even souvenirs are lemon themed. Many of the candy shops will let you try samples, and you should definitely take advantage of it. They have several unique candies that are delicious. I don't typically eat sweets, but I did enjoy these. After visiting a few souvenir shops and grabbing some more free candy, we stopped for a quick photo pause and then headed out to meet up with our driver. Our adventure continued as we drove along the Amalfi Coast. If you're more of an adventurous person and would rather hike, Amalfi does offer several different hiking trails along the ridge. Our driver did say that some of these trails are fairly extreme and can take anywhere from a few hours to a few days to complete. But if you would rather stick to the road and save your energy like we did, there are still some interesting things to see along the way, like this replica town of a town. If you are visiting the area, there are several different resorts that you could choose to stay in, like this one that's located on the side of a cliff. The Amalfi Coast was a beautiful drive with many scenic overlooks that you can stop at and just take it all in. Some of the overlooks have locals selling some of their homegrown fruits and vegetables, like Salventura here. He was a great guy. My daughter got a lemon from him and said this was the best lemon she had ever eaten. One of our last stops along the Amalfi Coast before heading to Pompeii was Positano. This little town was breathtaking. Not just for its beauty, but because you have to walk up and down these steep steps, and it was exhausting. But once you got to the end, the view was well worth it. Even though going down to the ocean there was a lot more steps that you had to walk up and down. But we did it, and it was worth it as well. This little town was one of my favorite. Despite being so exhausting to walk, the locals were so pleasant, and with all the shops and restaurants, you could easily spend days here looking around. If you come to this area, this is one town you must put on your list to see. If you're going to be in Positano, you have to eat at La Galli. My wife only had one request, and that was she wanted to eat somewhere with a view, and check this view out. We just kind of stumbled on this place and wasn't sure what to expect. I decided to order the grilled chicken Caesar salad, and my wife ordered the special, which was spaghetti. This was by far the best Caesar salad I've ever eaten. Sorry, America, but you just don't know what you're doing. And according to my wife, they don't know how to make spaghetti either. She said this was the best she had ever had. And it was so good that she mentions it at least once every day just to remind me of how good it was. So if you go there, make sure you try the spaghetti and let me know if she's right. So after our delicious lunch, we headed back up the long staircase to meet up with our driver, then back on some more narrow roadways towards the other side of the mountain for our next adventure at Pompeii. So our private tour company that we chose for this trip was John Amalfi, or also known as Pompeii Car Service. And our personal guide was Francesco. This 5-star company will have you riding in style. Give John a call and he can get you set up if you just need transfers, a private tour, a group tour, whatever the case may be, he's there for you. Hey, thanks for watching. Hey, do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Help us continue to grow as a channel, and make sure you ring that bell so you get notified of our next upcoming videos.